Mid-news. You might not need this.
Hey, thank you for coming to Mid News. I'm your reporter for the day, Darnell. Hi. I'm playing. Welcome to Mid News. Thank you for returning once again on this wonderful Friday. I know the weekend's coming up and you got better things to do, but let's get tuned in and check in with the news and what's happening around the world, around the United States, and in general. A rocket attack has injured and killed 11 people, and it has landed in the Israeli territory of Golan Heights. The Israeli people want to know, did Hezbollah mean to strike this area full of kids and people? Hezbollah says they didn't do it. Israeli said they did. Israel was like, hey, who could it be? This situation turns out terrible when 11 children have died. Here's the BBC to give you the rest of that news. And if you want to watch the full video, links in the description below.
Early evening in the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights, and the warning of an incoming threat about to become deadly and dangerous. A rocket struck a football field where children and teenagers were playing. Several were killed in the deadliest strike since the cross-border fire between Lebanon and Israel began last October. The anguish of loved ones at young lives cut short in a conflict that could be about to escalate sharply. A rocket barrage today which lit up the sky was claimed by the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah, but it denies firing the deadly strike onto the football field. That, the Israeli army spokesman says, is a lie. The spark from the 7th of October ignited Gaza and now Golan. The question tonight is, will it start an inferno?
As you can see there, it's a very powerful tragedy. Listen, no one should be dying and no one should be going to war. No one should be shooting rockets at each other. Coexistence is all we can do as mankind and kind of live longer to see what's next over the horizon. You know, at this point, Hezbollah says they didn't do it. Israel said they did. It's kind of a he said, she said bullshit type of moment. And as the BBC goes on to say, this can turn into a huge inferno of just war outbreaking because Hezbollah broke off from Iran. So wonder what's going to happen next. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please, in the description, check out the full video from BBC and the articles. BBC goes to the largest carbon plant in the world, in Iceland, by the way, sucking up basically all of the toxic gas and creating clean air. That's what basically is a carbon plant, which to me is kind of interesting because if you're able to build, it's called Mammoth, if you're able to build these type of giant machines to suck in carbon and bring out, suck in CO2, suck in carbon and bring out CO2, that's very interesting because these machines are basically filtering and trying to get clean air out, which is smart, but how sustainable is this and how it can affect the broader landscape of the world and our air supply? I'd rather just plant more trees and then wait for that to happen. But let me know what you think in the comments below. If you want to check out the whole BBC video itself, you can check it in the description below. I didn't want to take too many clips from them, but yeah. The BBC does bring up there's a good video in the BBC that involves the trans community. Now, for anyone out there who's a trans activist and hates Russia, Russia has eventually banned all transgender surgery, all of the conversion therapy. They've just done away with it. And anyone who's transgender, even though the former communist Soviet Union country no longer was accepting of the surgeries, they're now rejecting it right after getting into war with Ukraine and dealing with a lot of global shifting things. So at this moment, Russia doesn't like transgender people. So hopefully you can check out the full video in the description below. It's a long one, kind of couldn't go through most of it, but let me know what you think about it. Check it out for yourself, and I'll probably leave some articles for anyone who wants to actually dive deep into the conversation of transgenders, Russia, and hatred. Hezbollah accuses Israel of striking on Golan Heights, right? Occupied Golan Heights. Honestly, I'm gonna let the professionals handle this one for you because basically Israel blames Hezbollah, Hezbollah blames Israel. There's been a whole back and forth, and if Israel strikes back and hits Hezbollah, or Hezbollah and they do that, it'll be a whole fighting and conflict. Honestly, through war, Israel doesn't want to go and actually go to war because now they're fighting on all different fronts. And if Hezbollah gets in, we already talked about this in the last video. Click up here. If Hezbollah gets involved, other neighboring countries will get involved and team up, and Israel will be outnumbered. Israel don't want to play these games, but check out the clip below and let me know what you think of everything happening.
The past 10 months, I think you've seen different actors be very reckless in retaliating against one another, but also underestimating how impossible it is to actually do quote-unquote calculated escalations. The Israelis have made it very clear they are going to strike Lebanon. It will be soon. I wouldn't be surprised if it was in the coming few hours, but it will be soon. And at the same time, they do not want a regional war because it's one that they're not prepared for. So they will retaliate, or they will claim that this is retaliation because we still don't know exactly what happened in the Golan Heights. But we do know that Israel will respond. And the question will be, can they respond in a way that isn't going to tumble out of control in terms of consequences and reprisals from Hezbollah?
Murderer is on the loose on the British seaside of Southport. This is something that's harder to talk about. 3 kids have been stabbed and killed, and this is the 3rd stabbing in one of them. The police have arrested a 17-year-old connected maybe to the stabbings. They don't believe there's anybody else, but these are tragic. A child was stabbed, and it was a safe haven for these kids, pregnant women that they were at, and this was holiday for them, and kids need to enjoy their holiday, enjoy their summer, and then a fateful stabbing. I'll let the BBC take this, but yeah.
Confirmed a 3rd child has died, a 9-year-old girl, in addition to 2 girls aged 6 and 7. 8 other children suffered stab wounds, 5 of them are critically ill. 2 adults are also in a critical condition. The horror unfolded at what was supposed to be a fun, Taylor Swift-themed holiday workshop for primary school children. Yoga, dancing, bracelet making in what's usually a safe space, a haven for pregnant women where baby and children's classes also take place.
Port is a very small town, and there will be many, many people both personally impacted by what happened yesterday here, but also they will know the families, their children will know the children who were in that room when this happened. And we need to give them space to articulate their emotions.
Let me cap this off by saying something. These stabbings are horrific, and these children have suffered. 3 kids that have died were murdered, and these stabbings are something a parent shouldn't have to go through. My child is dead before I go is something a parent shouldn't have to bury their child. They shouldn't. And I hope the police bring this person to justice. It's not fair, and all these children and parents in this small town of Southport, they're all grieving because it's been happening more and more. And let me know what you think and comment below. Check out the full BBC video. Protest in Bangladesh is kicking up, and these protesters have also been striked after the death of Saeed Sabad, or Abu Sadat. Here's his name. So everything I'm about to say right now, I can't do this article justice from all the detail that it lays out for what's happening in Bangladesh. So basically, these protests are breaking out because of new bills that have been passed for refugees or for families of veterans. Now, these veterans and these families who have fought in wars for the country have kind of changed, and now these people are protesting. A student dies from these protests, and multiple people have been dying from said protests that have been happening in Bangladesh. I'm not a fan of this, right? I like a protest, but when someone tries to shut you up, and also they've been killing media in these protests, because that's what stops it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of protests that are happening in the US because those protests here can't affect what's happening in the country. Disagree or agree. But when a country itself, another place is, the people of that place is protesting and they're trying to stick up for their rights and something they believe in, and the police and other people disagree with that, it's outrageous to me that you won't just argue back why not of these problems. It sucks to me, but killing people for protesting, students, just anyone sticking up for their natural rights is wrong, especially journalists. Journalists have been taking the brunt this year. Journalistic reviews, journalistic integrity, and the respect of journalists, the lives of these people have been going straight the fuck up. And it's painful to be a journalist in this time because you don't know when someone's gonna stop you from speaking on something just because they don't like it. I'm not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of what's happening in Bangladesh. I'm not a fan of these protests becoming bloodbaths and these people only fighting for what they believe in. Now, agree with me, disagree with me, let me know what you think. And if you want to read the full article without any of my talking, any of the images popping up, description below. Thank you. And I hope the people of Bangladesh get the rights they need. I hope the change happens, and I hope all these horrific killings stop. Next story is Kai Cenat's cameraman, Chris. Chris Media has been found to be texting an underage girl who said she was 17 and 18 and kind of going back and forth with him on that. Kai eventually had to disconnect himself from Chris Media and no longer be working with him or AMP. The backlash kind of sucks for this because Kai hates his name being in the media negatively, and then Complex talked about it, which they kind of thought it was Chris next door, which that's even worse. Like, where'd you get that? He already said Chris the cameraman, so you know a lot of the AMP members are talking about lawyers. So, Complex, you gotta fix that. You a bunch of fucking idiots. I'm just saying. But let me know what you think of this news, and for the rest of the news, here. AMP has taken over New York, and you're probably looking at it like, why is this part of news? This is called mid-news, so everything is either useless, useful, or whatever. It's up to the person to decide. So AMP is in New York City. They're taking over. They got kicked out of their penthouse. Kai's inside of a truck. Ice Spice was twerking. Duke Dennis was chilling, throwing basketballs. Ray acting crazy on the streets of New York. And somehow Fanum was in the Dominican Puerto Rican parade and just having fun. And it was Dominican parade having fun, and they towed his Lambo. Police took a picture near it, and Fanum is not happy. He is not. And neither was Kai Cenat when he tweeted out, "Fuck the NYPD." And honestly, AMP's just been trying to chill, have fun. They ain't hurting nobody, and they're trying to be safe. But yeah. And also, here's the clip of what happened to Fanum close to 156.
Point to your feet. You mean camera? Everybody point to your feet for 3 minutes. I bet. Muted or nah? Oh, hell no. No way they on us.
Nah, they not. Yes, they are.
Oh, fuck no.
Let me try to sit down.
Why you got his gun out? No. Nah, get the cam on this.
Nah, put the camera on.
Get the cam on this, bro. Why you got...
Out of the car.
Why the gun out?
Let me see. Let me have my phone.
Why you got this gun out? Why you got that gun out?
It's going to cut the cars 161.
Roll my land, you know what I'm saying, outside, you know what I'm saying? And not only were they outside, but they also said it, you know what I'm saying? One of the officers said, Dominican Day Parade, they outside, we outside too. 4K, chat. Everybody's paying 4K, chat. 4K. You know what I'm saying? Not only was they outside, but they said, yeah, we outside too. Like, you know, this is what they doing, chat. I'm letting y'all know now. NYPD took pictures with Fanum's Lamborghini after taking it during the Dominican Day Parade. Dominican Day Parade, we outside too. Let's see the pictures real quick. They're throwing up their gang sign right there. This is the 44th Precinct gang sign right here, chat. Me, personally, I was gonna do a little troll and like kind of throw up the their sign too, like kind of like trolling it, you know what I'm saying, throwing it down. But to be honest, I don't want to be associated with anything criminal. So NYPD, y'all can have this. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can have your little gang sign. I'm good. I don't want to be associated with anything criminal. Thank you. But that's y'all. I'm a civilian. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? They have my Lamborghini. They put their foot, you know what I'm saying, on the car, pose it up. By the way, this is Demon Time with a wolf emoji, chat. You want y'all to really look at this shit right here. If this ain't a gang, it's getting indicted for much less. So I just want to know if, you know what I'm saying, indictments happen. If you know, I'm just saying, chat. I'm just saying. Them chat, he's outside the precinct and shit. Look at this, chat. Look at this.
He tight. Look, he tight. He tight.
Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. He's embarrassed. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
He tight. Look, he tight. He tight.
Nigga's embarrassed. Anyway, moving on, chat. Let's keep it going. You see the post, and shout out to KC, NYPD, You know what I'm saying? All right, moving on. Oh, we're not done. Y'all, this is what I said on Instagram this morning. I kept it short, nice, sweet. I said, y'all decided to pull a gun on me and all them kids for what? We had a permit to be in the parade. And then after NYPD carjacks me on stream, they pose up with my vehicle like it's a photo shoot. Them suits is on the way. I got a bag and time. Let's really do it. With that being said, my attorneys will be contacting you guys shortly. It was nice meeting you guys too. You know what I'm saying? Let's drop W's in the chat for that. You know what I'm saying? You wanna carjack me? Okay. You wanna tax me? I'm gonna tax you. No. Sorry, not sorry.
As you just seen all the footage right there, yes, the NYPD stole Fanum's car. They basically taxed and stole his shit on the stream. They didn't take a call. They didn't tow his shit. No, they drove it to the precinct, the 44 precinct, which is the most fucked up. And I love how he's like, yeah, throwing up the gang sign. They are technically the biggest gang in New York, but the NYPD barely wants to do their jobs nowadays because, you know, obviously protests and shit that happen in the city. But long story short, what do you think? NYPD in the wrong? Did Fanum cross a line? Because you don't pull out a gun in front of someone and there's kids around coming to the car. That's dangerous. Let's see what you think about that. Let me hear it in the comments below. Thank you for showing up to Mid News. I appreciate this. Look, I've been doing pretty well with these videos. I'm glad you guys like this and check out the rest of the playlist. I've been going pretty strong. So shout outs to me and shout outs to you guys for tuning in. Whoever's watching, I appreciate it. So for everything that's happened, these are my final words for you and for anyone watching these videos. What is happening in the world in all these countries and all these places suck. They do. They suck horrendously. People dying for protests, kids just playing that are dying. Death sucks. For someone I've lost a lot of people in my life, and tragedy strikes when you least expect it. I hope you cherish everyone close to you. This is a reminder that life is short when you live, and the long part of life is how you live it, and the actions and choices you make. Prepare yourself and prepare others for the inevitable. And you can never be prepared for everything, but try. So for all the news that you've listened to and watched, please take it all in, understand it, read, update yourself on it, stay up to date on the news, but don't hate the news. Yes, there's a lot of miserable things out there. All this news was terrible and sad, but your life doesn't have to be that. Take it in, understand it, and wait and listen for better resolve. There's good that comes from something. There has to be. Remember that. There's not all bad in the world. So, thank you for coming to Mid News. Have an incredible weekend. Peace.
Mid News. You might not need this.